Welcome back, and this is The Perspective. We had promised you that we were going to have live in studio the Registrar of Political Parties, and Nderitu. Thank you so much, Madam, for honoring our invitation.
Thank you, thank you.
Yes.
I'm happy to be here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Now, my first question is, just paint for us a picture what the state of, Kenyan political parties is now. How many parties do we have? Are there any coalitions that have come together and have approached you for registration? Just give us that overall view.
Thank you. I think currently as a country, we are 1 year to the next general election, and actually a few days of the 1 year has been taken up. At this time we have 74 fully registered political parties, and about 8 or so parties that have applied for full registration, that in a few weeks' time probably they may make to add into the numbers. We also have about 22 of them that have provisional registration. So in total we can say we have 22 provisional and 8 that have passed the provisional stage. They are going towards the full registration, and 74 which are fully registered political parties.
Political parties, and
then we have quite a number, like 53 or so, that are processing the registration process. And of course, Kenyans in their thousands have also reserved names. And waiting for the process of registration to start. So we are in that scenario where many Kenyans are interested in registration of political parties.
By the way, tell me, what are the requirements and the guidelines for those registrations?
If any Kenyan would want to register a political party, the starting point is to start with a name search and a symbol search. Because for you to register a political party, they must have a name, they must have a symbol. So when you get a symbol and you get the name, then you go to the next stage of submitting the minutes of the founder members, who should actually be at least 3. There may be more, but at least 3. Then you come together and you tell the registrar that you have met and you have agreed you want to register a party. Then you forward it with the constitution of that party. Then we review the constitution and we give you a verdict if the constitution meets the requirement of Schedule 2 of the Political Parties Act that provides for how a constitution of a political party should look like. Then we proceed to the next level of telling you now to file the document that are required for provisional registration.
Okay.
After that, then you are issued with a provisional registration. It's immediately after that, then you go to the issue of recruitment of members, at least 1,000 members in 24 counties. The Political Parties Act says at least in more than half of the counties. That's why we calculate the 24 counties. Then when you have the membership, the next thing you do is establish the governing body, and then also establish offices, at least in those 24 counties, plus 1 where your headquarters will be. So in total, we require in the minimum that you have 25 established offices. We shall come across the country. Then we come and inspect. If you meet all the threshold, we look at your membership, at your governing body, at your policies and the various documents, and we look at your offices, and you are in compliance with your constitution that we have already approved at the professional stage. Then that's when you proceed to the next level now of full registration. And every person who is registering a political party must meet Chapter 6 of the Constitution. So the vetting process also have to take place, whether you actually meet that requirement.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, listening to you, it sounds like this is a big budget initiative project.
Yeah. It's a big budget. In between, for provisional registration, you have to pay the registrar's office 100,000, and at full registration, you give an extra 500,000, half a million. So in total, without calculating the operational cost of establishing the different areas that we want you to establish, you must have in cash 600,000. Then you also look for money for mobilizing people to come and register in your party in terms of meeting the requirement of the 24,000. You must also establish offices. You must brand and also make a policy document and all that. So it's capital intensive. It's capital intensive.
You talk of policy document.
Yes.
Would that be inclusive of the manifesto in the first instance?
Yeah. In the first instance, not necessarily the manifesto. We want you to have at least an ideological position. Even if it's 2-page, 3-page, you tell us what is your ideological positioning. Why are you registering a political party, for example? Then if you have to have employees, do you have statutes that requires for somebody to have employees, like HR manual, policies on how you shall manage funds, policies on how you shall manage your membership, policies on how you shall interact with other political parties and other stakeholders. There are a range of policies that we expect a political party to have.
So company law comes into effect.
Yeah. You must not really. We don't operate so much of company law. We operate the Political Parties Act.
Yeah, guided under the Political Parties Act,
which is actually which provides all those. And what is required.
Okay. When you spoke about ideology, my mind went into, when you look at majority of the political parties in this country, they're in the hands of, a select few, the political elite. We don't see, or we don't hear out here about people from the base of the social pyramid, heading political parties that identify with themselves, that identify with their conditions, and even their ideals, and I'm wondering why this is the case. The provision of the Political Parties Act, as far as formation of a political party is concerned, it should capture regional balance, ethnic balance. You should look at gender, equity within the party. You should, even in membership or in the governing body. You are looking at age. It should have the face of Kenya. In terms of the population, of the population segment should be catered for persons with disability, women, youth, men, old and young, and all that. So basically, from a perspective of policy, that is how a political party should actually look like. The question of whether the parties, the minority and all that, and people at the top of the pyramid. I think every Kenyan has a right to register a political party. And should any Kenyan approach, that leeway is there. Probably, and there are parties actually there are many parties that are headed and taken around by ordinary Kenyans, who then must have political interest, because one of the issues for you to be able to manage and work with a political party is actually to have political interest, so that you now come together and then decide we want to register a political party. But probably the one we hear more about are the ones that are publicized by the people who are actually in their leadership. So the question of publicity of all political parties, then it's important. That's why I say the media also need to get concerned about also publicizing all political parties. You should actually get concerned that there are 74, but probably the ones you talk about are the 2 or 3 leading horses.
3, 4, 5 or 6 leading horses. The only time we see the limelight of smaller parties is when they have a dispute and maybe they are spillover and then but I think media should also be should come out there and try to promote
the other parties
as well.
Okay, let's go to those advanced societies where people just don't elect individuals. They vote on the basis of some kind of ideology that is being advanced by a political party. But you are in this space and you're interacting a lot with political parties. Is this something that you turn around in your mind when you think about our systems here locally you know, when you're doing a comparison analysis with the advanced societies. And is there any need to have measures in place that will ensure that parties are not being used as a conduit to dupe Kenyans?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
First of all, I want to, before I respond to that question, I want to reiterate the fact that out of this 74, 43 of those political parties have elected leaders.
Yeah.
That means, in one way or another, you cannot have a political party. Out of many, it is a political party is registered to give options. The more the political parties, the more the options they are for Kenyans to choose from. Because the minute you tailor-make political parties only to be 2 or 3, then you are saying that Kenyans have only options of those 2 and 3. If out of the 74, then 43 have either an elected leader, even if it is an MCA, it means that they actually participated in elections, and they have actually participated in the promotion of democracy. Comparing to other jurisdictions, now coming to your question,
yeah.
The question of ideology, it's something that we want as an institution, and also in agreement with political parties. We need to really entrench ideological disposition of political parties, so that Kenyans are used to that. But we cannot also beat ourselves too hard. The other jurisdiction we are comparing have been in existence, in far as democracy is concerned, for 200 years, 150, 200. If you remember, it's only in 1992 when we repealed Section 2A.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that means it's our democracy as multi-party democracy is as old as 1992, which is about 30 years. 30 years thereabout, yeah. And we can say that we are making significant progress, especially the political discourse that go along in people having the freedom of speech and be able to challenge the different political positions of different people, and we still get along as a country. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that is a very significant step in democratic growth, because it gives the space to continue growing. The fact that we gave ourselves more parties then means that as many as they will register political parties, then they'll come together and grow ideas, allowed ideologies, and we are moving towards there. If you hear towards 2022, for the first time, we are talking about economic models. The discussion is around which economic model, this one saying this superior. I have an economic model, even me. This other party say I have an economic model, even me. Even me, I have an you hear the discussion. So meaning, as far as we are concerned as a country, we are moving towards that direction of issue-based politics, ideological-based politics. We have come from far from where we are. We know for sure that there are political parties in this country that has championed particular ideologies, social justice. Others have championed economic development and all that. And others have championed for peace, peace and democracy and all that. Others have championed for freedom of speech. And we have gathered and agreed to move together as a country. So really we cannot say that we are empty, that we are tabular as far as the question of ideology is concerned. But it is taking shape, it is forming. We are moving towards that direction so that we concretize our gains, the gains that we have made for the last 30 years.
You could be right that these are early days for issue-based politics. But even inside those conversations, you will hear the politicians themselves referring to themselves as tribal chiefs. Okay? And I'm wondering how that sits with you. Because we are gaining ground, but on the same at the same time we seem to be receding. You know. So how do you ensure that we reconcile those two? You know.
The reconciliation of the two lies with the citizen. Because it's the citizens, you know, the Constitution of Kenya gives power to the people. We, the people. So the citizen need to reconcile the two by saying, this is the direction we want to go. We don't want to be fed with tribal issues. We want to be fed by ideas. We want to be fed by by progression of ideologies. We won't be fed by what shall happen to us after an election and so forth. The promises and the issues that we shall be discussing around this time should be based on what benefit we, the people. So the citizen have a role to play in shaping a conversation, a political conversation, by rejecting what they think that can actually divide them, that can cause violence, that can put this community against this other community. I think the citizen have a role, and those citizens, including ourselves, who are regulators of such conversations, and also the media, who can actually shape the opinion and the conversation around how we want to move as a country towards becoming ideological and issue-based.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Let's move into the area of administration of political parties' funds, and I want to frame these questions in this way. The first one: how are parties funded? And my second question is: recently we saw one of the political parties in Kenya, Wiper, I think it was. They raised some concerns, and my question is: do you have a role in ensuring that political parties publish their audited annual accounts? Is that a role that's within your purview?
Yes. So how are we doing on that front? One, let's start with the question of political parties fund. The distribution and administration of political parties fund is well stipulated in the Political Parties Act, Section 25 and 26, which give the criteria by which parties qualify to be funded. And then they also give how that money should actually be disbursed, what registrar should be in far as the disbursement of that fund, what to look out. For instance, the Act provides that for a party to qualify, the party must have attained 3% of the cast vote in the last general election. Then the second criteria is that the party should have particular seats, that has won particular seats.
Number of seats.
A number of seats.
Yes.
20 members of parliament, 40 MCAs, 3 senators, 3 governors, and then there must be, they must be now have met some other requirements when we give the funds. When we are now distributing the fund, then we look at have you brought on board women? As your party have elected youth, persons with disability? We look at what is called special interest groups. Then before we distribute, then we see how would we distribute money based on certain criteria. But then the basic requirement for you now to qualify for fund is that of having the elected persons under the category of MP, under the 20 under the category of MP, 40 under category MCA, 3 under categories of governor, 3 in categories of senator. To us, we think that is a very high threshold from the perspective of the Office of Registrar of Political Parties. Probably we may need to expand it a little bit. Try to temper the threshold so that more political parties would benefit from the fund.
So ticking all those boxes would obviously include, for instance, the 2/3 gender rule.
The 2/3 gender rule, yes. That's why we are saying we call it special interest groups. That you have actually brought on board special interest groups, which may include women, persons with disability, the youth, the marginalized. There's a formula we use.
There's a formula
to see how many of those that you have brought on board.
All right.
The second question you asked was whether we have jurisdiction as far as the fund is concerned. The jurisdiction, yes, as far as distribution of that fund is concerned, and getting also work plans from the parties and to see how they are going to use the fund. But the Auditor General also have a role to audit, to audit the funds that are given, and he gives report to Parliament and give us a copy. Just
listening to you, obviously you're on a trajectory of strengthening political parties in the country. But we are also seeing the emergence of independent candidates. And my question is, do you think that would pose a challenge to the growth of multi-party politics in Kenya?
I think yes and no. Mm-hmm. Yes, because we believe that politics is better organized through political parties. Because political parties will you can ask a question from to an institution called political parties, which you are not able to ask an individual who has come out as an independent, as an independent candidate. The institutional mechanism within a political parties has provided in the act that can deal with the members who are wrong, who are behaved in a particular way that is contrary to the constitution of the party or the code of conduct of political parties. So as many independent candidates come on board, and if there are so many, it means they can interfere with governance of a country. Yeah, because the minute, if you have so many people that nobody can account for them, and you are not able, they are not institutionalized way of accounting for their, for themselves, for them, then that can affect.
But we have those independent candidates who say, listen, we have done our primaries, and at the grassroots, we are so popular. But when they arrive, for example, from far-flung areas to Nairobi to go and pick their certificates, then their parent parties have other strategic interests. Okay, so these are some of the reasons why you find them, moving into the space of independent candidates. So you have a strong candidate at the grassroots, but who is denied a certificate for one reason or another, fair or not fair, and they decide to.
That's why I said in my response I said yes and no. The no is that it's also a guaranteed right in the Constitution that you can run as an independent candidate. Okay. And there's nothing wrong as running as an independent candidate. Okay. What I think is not right is when you first of all go for party primaries, then you decide to go. You lose. Then decide to go as an independent candidate. Okay. I don't think that is smart enough. It is not smart enough. That is where I'm saying it can weaken political parties.
Fair enough.
My thinking is that if you want to run as an independent candidate, decide that right from the word go, because the electoral timelines and calendars are given.
Yeah, that's true.
Do what, decide that I'm going to election, but I don't want to belong to any political party, and I want to run as an independent candidate. Okay. So that the competition is healthy. So that me, who defeated you in the party primaries, and I was given the certificate, then you come, we are competing with you, and before then we are talking of the, we were actually promoting the ideologies of the same party. Then we divide after party primaries. So when you divide after party primaries, and then you now come challenging me, the person who got the party certificate, then you are weakening the political party.
And it's a bit untidy.
And it's a bit untidy.
I see where you're coming from.
So let people decide, I want to be an independent candidate because it's a guaranteed right in the Constitution actually, and in other subsidiary laws. And then you run as an independent candidate as a guaranteed right. But don't also be in a political party, probably fairly get defeated by in party primaries, and then jump ship to independent candidates.
But by the way, talking of jumping, we're seeing a lot of, some politicians who won an election on Party A. And today we are seeing them advancing interests for Party B. So how do you deal with that as a registrar?
Come again?
We have seen political leaders who have, won elections on Party A, for example.
Yes.
But today, they're advancing the interests of Party B.
Party B.
How do you reconcile that
now,
as a registrar?
The reconciliation, first of all, the law is very clear that a person should actually continue propagating ideologies of a party that he was elected on its ticket. But we have seen publicly, and we cannot deny that fact.
So what does your office, how does your office handle that?
One, categorically, the work of calling political party members to order belong to the political party. And that's why I said the importance of strengthening and institutionalizing political party, because the registrar does not own members. I have no right legally to come and call you to order when you belong to Party X. It is Party X that should call you to order and say, indeed in the Act and in the Constitution there's a process called deeming. And deeming means that when you behave in a particular way and promoting ideologies of another party, your political party should deem you to have resigned. Okay. And then file the same with the Registrar of Political Parties. And say that we have deemed this person to have resigned for ABCD reason. And then the process of removing that person either as a member or at whichever other area that the Act provides can be initiated. But as far as the members are concerned, they actually belong to the political parties. And strengthening political parties will help them to be able to deal through the internal dispute resolution mechanism.
There are some people who have, you wake up, you find yourself fraudulently registered in a political party that you don't even belong to. I know there is something about data protection. But does your office have a role to verify and make public available list of all members within political parties?
Yeah, and a month ago or so we did that. And Kenyans inspected the register on a pilot basis. And for about 14 days or so, and we were able to hear all the complaints that came as a result of that. Clearly, as Section 34 of the political parties provide, is that the registrar is the custodian of the register, of membership register of political parties. But probably we are the only institution that keep a register that we do not make. I know there could be others, but I think we keep a register that the origin and the owners of the register are political parties. But we have a responsibility, as you have said, making it publicly available and allowing verification of the same. And after the pilot that we did that particular time, we came together, the Office of Registrar and political parties themselves, to address the concerns that were raised. And we agreed, any Kenyan who really felt aggrieved to have belonged to another political party has a right to resign. And as many as wrote objections, we are acting on them. Majority of them we have actually acted. Some of them objected to the data commissioner. The data commission, we held a meeting with the data commissioner and agreed how to go about it, so that Kenyans who really do not want to belong to a particular political party, then they are removed because it's their right to belong or not to belong, depending that. Going forward, we also agreed.
And make that your final comment.
Yes. Going forward, we also agreed that we are going to make a system, the e-citizen platform, the one we had come up with, we still maintain that, but add more for the purpose of making it publicly available and for purposes of verification, so that Kenyans, you are able to check your own data, and then after that, if you think that you're in the right party, then you are comfortable. If you are not, we are saying we give the option of Kenyans resigning, resigning and leaving the party that you do not want to belong.
But how would you resign? How would you resign when, in the first instance, you are not even voluntarily a member of that party?
We are giving you opting out. What we may call in data protection opting out. You are opting out of a system probably you don't want to belong. But the issue of whether you actually, that is the word of Kenyans against the political parties that registered them. You cannot really say that Kenyans are in those parties and they never registered. That is a thing you can only prove in a court. Gray area, it's a gray area. Because if some Kenyans actually registered, and because they registered in outfit that later merged, he doesn't understand where I find myself in this party, and probably I belong to this party X, but party X merged with party Y and X and Z and form party D.
And from party D. And it's in party D.
And you find yourself now in party D. Party D. Party D. But you belong to party X.
To party X,
Yes. Wow. So because the law provides that when a merger happens, then all this data is put together in this party D. That you have all,
Brilliant. It's a bit of a jigsaw puzzle, but thanks for coming in. I know we will also be inviting you to come and shed light on those areas, because these are very very important
so
area.
we promise Kenyans that they have that option of opting out and registering online to a party of their choice.
I'm comfortable with the word opting out.
Opting out.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, but resigning is also, some of them registered.
Okay, thank you so much.
But that is not a call to say that that Kenyans need political. By the way, I think we need to have this conversation. It's very important
I know,
for Kenyans to belong to political parties.
Yeah, that's
so
and I hope you'll be open to another invitation so that we just come and
Kenyans should actually Kenyans should actually feel comfortable to belong to political parties, and political parties should be supported so that through their membership they're able to propagate their ideologies. Yes.
Thank you
Support
so much.
political parties is important.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you so much for finding time to come and talk to us. Well, that's all what we had time for. Thank you so much from wherever you're watching us in the capital city of Nairobi, Kenya. My name is Tom Mboya, and I'm wishing you a pleasant evening. Good night, and God bless you.